Hello, I'm live on YouTube. And I'm just about to go live on Instagram as well. So I'm gonna let them join in the conversation now. See if I can do two lives at once. So excuse me while I adjust things. Okay, that'll work. Okay. I'm gonna be going back and forth. Hello. All right, I am live on YouTube and I'm live on Instagram. So this is really weird because I have like double screens happening. So we're doing a Q&A Friday. So please put your questions in the comments, wherever your comment section is, either on Instagram or on YouTube, and both places at the moment. Welcome to my dorm room, or suite room, I guess, because I'm in a suite with three other people. There's four of us total that live in our suites. We have a shared kitchen and living room space. Yeah. So I'm just going to start in on the questions that I have. Yeah. So I have a few that I had asked on Instagram. And so I'm just going to go through the questions that I have, answer them. And if people put questions in comments, then that's cool too. But then as soon as I'm done, then we'll just end there. This is really low key, just answering questions, I guess. So yeah. All right. So the first one, let's see. Where should I start? I guess I'm gonna start with some of the stuff that was talking about my summer, because I answered this on Instagram in my stories, but I didn't answer this on YouTube really. So I just wanted to answer them more fully for this person and just for general interest if anybody wanted to know. So the first question was, so if you didn't know, I was on a team doing mission work in my diocese for the summer. So I was teaching like kind of a VBS program. During the day, we had first through sixth grade, and then in the evening, we had seventh through 12th graders. So we just did a little bit of catechetics, played games, had fun, learned about the Catholic faith. So I got to do that with a team of three other college students who were really awesome to work with. And so we all just got to grow in our faith life, in our prayer life, and just minister to these kids in their different parishes. So it was really awesome. So the question was there a moment of growth as a missionary in your faith? And the answer to this is yes. There are many moments of growth. So mission work in and of itself just calls you to die to yourself. And so I really had to work on embracing that and just looking for the opportunities where God was saying, hey, here's an opportunity for you to not do what you want to do right now, but to choose to do what I'm asking you to do. So there were lots of opportunities throughout the many weeks that I was in different parishes just to serve those kids and put them first above my own wants, which was really cool. Just in general, there's a lot of growth that my team and I saw between the four of us. So for me personally, I saw a lot of growth in trust of God and in His plan for my life, just in knowing that it would be okay. He's got this. I also grew in trust of my teammates, which was awesome. That was probably a really big one for me. Yeah. So trust is good. Then this person has also asked about skills that you should cultivate if you're going to be a missionary. And so I want to start with the fact that God doesn't call the gifted. He equips the called. So He's not going to call you to something if He's not going to give you what you need to do it. But there are definitely things that you can work on if you're going to be a missionary that will help you be a better missionary. So the first one is prayer. Just having some kind of prayer life before you go in is always good because then you know like that you felt that call from God to go into that mission and you're not just choosing it on your own and not like listening to him to see if that's actually what he wants you to do. So having a prayer life is really important. Also just having like some people skills and like knowing how to interact with people is nice, how to hold a conversation. We had host families who hosted us for dinner and also that we stayed with. And so we had to like interact with people on a regular basis. And that's a big thing in any kind of mission work, whether it's in a different country or if it's more like focus ministry. You have to be able to communicate and interact with people. So doesn't mean like you can't be an introvert and do that, because that's totally a thing. Or you can't be shy and do that, because that's me, I'm shy. But yeah, you have to be able to go out of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown, especially in getting to know people and doing that intentionally. See, there was something else I thought of and I can't remember. Skills for a missionary. Yeah, just being open, listening to God. He's going to help you grow where you need to grow. So no worries there. Cultivate a prayer life. Yeah, those are my tips. Then, this person had also asked about, were there any saints that I was praying to in particular this summer? The answer is yes. I have a little laundry list of saints that I love at the moment. But I'm going to just give the ones that my team and I pray to on a regular basis this summer. So first thing, with the day program, each of us dressed up as a saint. So we had like a little show in the middle of the day where we'd come down from heaven and we would be that saint and answer questions for the kids and like tell them about ourselves. So I was Saint Teresa of Calcutta. We had Saint Louis Martin, Sister Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque. I'm gonna forget the last one. Saint Damien of Molokai. That was always the one I forgot, and I feel bad. Saint Damien of Molokai. So those were the four that we were, and so of course we were praying to them because they were with us. That. Then let's see. I'll save the best for last. Our team had a saint name, so we were Blessed Solanus Casey team, and so we were praying to him a lot. He's a cool saint, or gonna be saint, hopefully. He's a cool blessed. We all kind of had like our patron saints too. So I prayed to Saint Cecilia, Saint Thomas More, Saint George, and then Saint Catherine of Siena. Those were our confirmation saints, so we prayed to them. And then the one that we held close to our hearts was Saint Teresa of Lisieux. She actually was in every single church that we were at. So we were at 7 different parishes, and at some point during the week, like, she showed up. She was either in a statue or in the stained glass or in socks that I received from a person. It was hilarious. But she just kept popping up, and so we knew that she was with us. So she was one that we prayed to regularly as we were going throughout the summer. And so we were kind of looking for her as well. So those were like the main saints that were really present with us, and the reasons why they were present with us. So after the rosary, we'd ask for their intercession along with some others who are our favorites. But those were the big ones that we really clung to this summer. Okay, so now that I've kind of talked about my summer, I'm gonna mark these off so I don't redo questions. If you have any more questions about any of that, please put it in the comments. I will answer those as I see them. Then I'm going to do this one. So, college prayer routine, faith events in college, seek, etc. Okay, so this person I think is just asking like how to get involved in college. Well, let me tell you. First thing you want to do when you get on campus, and I do have a video on YouTube talking about like my survival guide for freshmen going into college. So check that out if you want like a more specific like action plan kind of thing. Um, Tip for you, find your church, number one. Like, just find the church. That's the main thing because you need to go to mass. Um, then either find Focus or Newman Center because your campus should have one. If it doesn't have either, then you want to look to that parish that you've already found because they're going to have something for someone that you could help with somehow. So get involved in your church, however that works. If it's your church on campus or your church that you just go to every week, however you get involved, just do get involved because that's so important. So college prayer routine, faith events, and college seek, etc. Okay, so events. So if you've gone to a student book conference, Seek is really similar, but it's more days. It's, I think, 5 days, maybe, but it's way longer, which is awesome. And it is like a really big conference. There's only one instead of the multiple places where you can go, and it's for out of high school, so adults. And you do see some like adults with like their youngest children. So like they're pushing the baby stroller or toting around a baby somehow. It's really cute. So there's like a younger crowd, and then there's kind of like the older people who come and just chaperone in a loose sense of chaperone because you don't need a chaperone as an adult. Yeah. But Seek is amazing. I went this past year. The other one is SLS. I have not gone to that. I believe it's in Arizona this year. So I'm probably not going because it's a little bit of a drive for me if I were going to go to Arizona. But we'll see what God has planned. But SLS is like the other one to Seek. So they flip flop. But Seek is put on very closely with Focus Ministries, which is a college organization. So Fellowship of Catholic Universities is Focus. And they have Focus missionaries that are on college campuses. So those are people to look out for, and the organization is Focus. So look out for that kind of thing when you're on campus. Either a Newman Center or Focus they'll have. But Seek for SLS is a great opportunity. If you do get a chance to go, do it. Like if you've been to Steubenville, you ain't seen nothing. Steubenville's are like a very, very small Seek because there's many Steubenvilles versus like one Seek where everybody goes and everybody's in a hotel. It's an amazing experience. And you get to see a lot of really awesome Catholic speakers. There's a lot of choices. There's a wide variety of topics discussed, and it's just a lot of awesome Catholic stuff happening in 5 days. So it's cool. If you have any questions on Seek or anything like that, put them in the comments now or message me at another time. Then the first part of this question, college prayer routine. So I want to talk about what my prayer life looks like right now. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what it looked like this summer, just so you can see how it's changed. So this summer, when I was a missionary, I was doing Liturgy of the Hours, so morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer every day. Did Rosary and Divine Mercy Chaplet and the Angelus. That was my prayer life of like things that I had to do in a day. Like that was like something that I committed to because I was a missionary. So me and my team, we prayed all that together. And then we had like some time for personal prayer, but like that was the main thing, was like getting that structured prayer in there. And so of course, like coming back to more normal life, it's going to look a lot different than my summer when I was like having to pray this. It looks way different. So, that was a bad choice. My hair's in my face now. Yeah, it just looks a lot different because I don't have like the community to pray that with, and I don't have the time. Like I have time to pray, just not necessarily where I can sit down and do all of those things the way that I was doing them. So here's what my prayer life looks like right now, and it's probably going to change in the next few weeks, in the next month, in the next couple months. My prayer life is always constantly changing and evolving in good ways and bad ways, constantly changing. That's okay. That's how it should be. Faith is a journey. Gonna journey. So right now, what my prayer life kind of looks like, I wake up, I grab my Christian prayer book, I pray morning prayer while I'm eating my cereal. So I'm just reading it. I'm not praying it out loud as it would typically be prayed if one was praying in a community or with someone. You'd pray it out loud and there'd be a lot of things happening. I don't sing the hymn, I don't read the hymn, I don't do anything like that. I just read through morning prayer basically, which is beautiful because it's a way to kind of enter into just liturgy more deeply. Because the liturgy of the Catholic Church and just like the readings of like constantly having Jesus throughout your day. It's beautiful. And I love doing it this summer because I also got to go to Mass almost every day. So that kind of built on top of it, on top of Mass, especially when there are like feasts or memorials happening on those days. So that was beautiful, but can't do that with my college schedule. So I pray morning prayer every morning over breakfast. And that's basically my morning. I eat breakfast, I get ready, I walk to class, and my day starts. I try and pray a meal prayer. I've been forgetting recently, so that's another thing. Like, I can be doing so many things so much better. Right now, college, just striving for holiness in the little ways that I can. What else? Big one, at night, while I'm trying to fall asleep, I have my rosary in my hand and I'm praying the rosary. And so I started doing that after I got back from missionary work because I would forget to pray my rosary during the day or I'd just put it off and then I'd be like, I'm so tired, I'm going to bed. And so it's kind of a comfort thing now is like praying my rosary in my bed. And so if like I have time to pray something else, I'll pray my Divine Mercy chaplet during the day and then do my rosary while I'm trying to fall asleep. Just like on my day with my mother. Kind of cool. Yeah. So then the other thing, I just want to talk a little bit about the things that I'm involved in at my Newman Center on campus. So I am the liturgy coordinator here at my campus. So basically I help with all the student liturgy, like the Mass. So I'll set up and be like a sacristan and kind of organize things a little bit. I'm still learning my job. I'm not great at it yet, but I'll get there. It's going to happen. But I go to the student Mass on Sunday, which is at 6:00 p.m. And then Monday, we have a women's Bible study that I go to. Then Tuesdays, we have a few of us girls that meet and pray evening prayer together, which is beautiful. So we do that in the evening together around 6. We just kind of have a little bit of fellowship time before and after where we talk and hang out and then we pray and then we have more time to talk. So we do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesday, sometimes we'll have a student supper where the parish feeds us a dinner. And then every week we have a late night Mass at 9:00 p.m., which is awesome. I'm also getting involved in the faith formation program, so I'll be teaching middle schoolers on Wednesday nights too. Then what else? Yeah, that's about it. Friday, I'm taken up with a practicum that I have all day. So I've been praying Divine Mercy Chaplet when I drive back to campus because it's a half-an-hour drive, which is actually perfect because usually I end around 3. So the hour of mercy, might as well pray a chaplet, Yeah, and then Saturday I have kind of like a day off, but I usually end up doing more of like personal prayer during that time. Thursdays, we also have adoration. Have not been this semester yet because I've been so busy with homework, which is awful to say, but I have, and so it's something I'm working on. So hopefully that answers that college prayer routine question. Then I wanted to talk about this question. And so it says, should we feel something when we pray and how to have confidence in prayer? So this is something near and dear to my heart. Let me get some water because I'm dying. Okay. Should we feel something when we pray and having confidence in prayer? So the trust thing that I talked about, it's having that trust in God, knowing that even when he feels like he's not there, he is. Um, yeah, it's a hard thing when you're experiencing kind of like a spiritual dryness or spiritual darkness, or desolation in prayer, where you don't feel God when you pray. And that's something that I went through, when last year, actually, when I had transferred to this college. I had done a year at tech college, and then in the fall, I transferred, for my sophomore year. And so there was a lot of change taking place, and it was really hard, a really hard transition for me, as well as just not clicking with people. And so that was something that I struggled with, was prayer, because I was very anxious about things. I was kind of nervous about being in this place where I didn't know many people. And so that was something that affected my prayer life heavily. And so I really struggled with prayer, especially at the end of the semester. There were highs and lows in that, and times where it was great and like I felt God and He blessed me, and I saw that. There were times where I just did not feel Him moving. And then that continued into the beginning of 2019. And so then over Lent, I decided to do 33 Days to Merciful Love, which is a consecration to Divine Mercy. And so that's a book, written by Michael E. Gately, Father Michael E. Gately, who also did Morning Glory, 33 Days to Morning Glory, which is why I wear this chain on my wrist, is for my Marian consecration. And so because of that, like, that whole book is about God's mercy and God's love for us. It's based on Saint Faustina, but primarily on Saint Therese of Lisieux. What? From my summer? Yes, Saint. Same saint. um, so she was a beautiful saint for me this year. But continuing on with what I was saying, um, she had a lot of reflections, and so they were kind of speaking to me, kind of not. I was also praying the litany of trust, every night for Lent, and so that was part of it. Um, but what really struck me, was one night, the reading was on allowing Jesus to sleep in his little boat, and so Saint Therese, this was her reflection of, um, there was a part in the Bible where the disciples were in a boat with Jesus and they were traveling across a lake, a large body of water, and he fell asleep in the boat. And then the storm comes up and the disciples start freaking out, as one would when they're in a boat, and there's a storm and they're on water. That's not where you want to be usually. You don't want to be on water in a storm because you could die, right? Like, that's a possibility. And so they were freaking out. And so they woke him up saying, Jesus, help us. Like, what are you doing? Why are you napping? We're going to die. And he was like, what are you doing? Be not afraid. I got this. And so he calmed the storm. So you may remember that Bible passage. I don't have it off the top of my head where it is. From one of the Gospels. But the main point was that they didn't trust him, that he was there, like there for them, even though he was asleep. Because they didn't take into account that he's a divine person, not just an earthly one like us. Like, he has a divine side to his human side. Like, he is fully human and fully divine. So he can like do a lot of things that he can't because he's divine. So it's kind of cool. But basically, she said that she wanted to allow him to sleep. So when there's storms coming up in her life and she doesn't feel him or doesn't see him being awake and moving and working, she can rest easy knowing that he's still there. He still knows what's happening. And if something needs to happen and he needs to wake up, then he will, because he's divine. So he's going to wake up just in time. Like, he's got this under control. He knows exactly what he's doing. And so basically, most souls won't let him sleep, is what she said. And so she wanted to let him sleep if he wanted to. And so allowing him to be in charge of that part of her life. Saying, nope, God, you've got this. I don't feel you moving, but it's okay. So I took a lot of courage in that fact. And that was really when trust started to grow in my heart. I think God really planted some seeds during that time in my life over Lent. But that continued through the summer because just with everything, like I said, I grew in trust. So trust that God's got it all under control. He has a plan. He'll let me know when I need to do something. So then, he's got it. So, yeah. So the question was, should we feel something when we pray? God will let you feel something if he wants you to, but you don't have to feel something when you pray. Praying is simply talking to God. It's having a conversation. So go to church, kneel down, start talking, and then make sure you take a little bit of time to listen, because it's a conversation, so it has to go two ways. He may not speak to you directly. He may leave you in silence for a while. But if he needs to say something, he will. And so you need to have that communication open in case he does want to say something. So yes, you should have confidence in prayer, but that comes with practice and trust. And so trust isn't saying like you're not scared or not nervous or like you don't have doubts. It's overcoming those doubts and saying, no, I know that he's a good God. He loves me. He has a plan for me, and he's got this. And so I do not have to worry. And telling yourself that anytime you feel tempted to doubt or say, God, where the heck are you? I need you right now. You need to do something. So I hope that answers that question. If it doesn't, please let me know. But I hope it does. That got really deep, really fast. Okay, on to a much lighter question, and this is actually the last question that I have. So if you have a question, please put it in the comments so I can answer it for you. Otherwise, after this question, we'll kind of wrap it up. So the question is, where do you get your medals? So that's these right here. So we're just going to walk through them. I'm going to start here. So this one is a miraculous medal. There's two medals that I say are stable for Catholics. Miraculous medal is one of them. If you're going to wear a medal, miraculous medal is one of the two that you should have. So St. Catherine Labouré received this in a vision from Mary, and thus the miraculous medal was born. But you can look that up yourself if you are more interested in that. But this one, I had one that I had bought at a Steubenville conference, and then it started to get kind of tarnished. And so then I received one in the mail from a family friend from my mom's friend, and she's kind of my friend, and yeah, it was cool. She sent me cookies and a miraculous medal, and so it just worked out that I got a new one when my old one was getting older, and looking kind of disheveled. So I wear a miraculous medal at all times. Then I have this one. This one is the medal. If you wear nothing else, wear a Saint Benedict medal. If you don't know, to bless a Saint Benedict medal, you have the priest say an exorcism over it. That's part of the prayer. It's like an exorcism. And so this summer, my teammate and I have a rosary that I had gotten that had Benedict medals on it, and she had a bracelet that had been blessed, but it wasn't blessed properly with like the actual prayer with the exorcism. So we did it around a campfire because we had a priest with us, and so he did the prayers over it around a campfire in the dark. It was really cool. But that's another story. I got this the weekend before my confirmation because our youth minister gives them out every year just to give us a little bit of courage to get through the sacrament with bravery. Yeah, so I haven't taken it off since. It's definitely my favorite go-to medal. I love St. Benedict so much. Then I have St. Teresa of Lisieux. I got this one from my aunt a while ago, and she had blessed it, and I don't know, might have been like touched to her relic, maybe. I want to say yes, but I have a whole bunch of other medals also on a keyring, but I don't wear them all because that'd be a lot to carry. Some girls do. I don't. I can't do that much. But St. Teresa of Lisieux, I did have a different one on here, and then it broke because kids. And so I put St. Teresa of Lisieux on here because of how meaningful she was for me this summer. And just, keeping her close to myself because of that. And then I got this one, my little cross here, yesterday actually, in the mail from my aunt. It was cool. She got to have in her house for like a day the True Cross relic, first class relic of the True Cross. And so she touched this cross to the first class relic. And so that makes this cross a third class relic of the True Cross. So, kind of cool. I love relics. Fun fact. If I need to do a video on that on YouTube, please let me know. If you're confused as to what I'm talking about. But it was really cool. And then I'm just going to talk about the rest of my Catholic jewelry. So I already told you I have my consecration chain. So some people choose to wear this, some people don't. Personal preference. I did it after my third consecration. I actually have the video on YouTube of that consecration where I was putting it on. I have this bracelet from Pink Salt Riot, I believe it's called. And so it says Totus Tuus. And so Totus Tuus Maria, totally yours, Mary. And that just was one of the mottos of our summer program was Totus Tuus, totally yours. And it was also the pontifical motto of Saint John Paul II, who was Pope. So during his popeship, that was his motto, was Totus Tuus Maria. So giving himself totally to Mary. Of course, I have my watch on. And then I have a scapular, which is the brown scapular. And it's just a chain. So one side has the Sacred Heart, and then the other side has Our Lady of Mount Carmel on it, because that's where the brown scapular comes from. It was given to the Carmelites. And then it is a scapular that, if you're invested in, then you may wear it as well. So that is all I have for questions for Question Friday. I hope you enjoyed this. It'd be fun to do it again if I get some more questions built up. If anybody had any last questions, please put them in the comments now so I can answer them. Otherwise, I'll get to them at a later time if you message them to me. But thank you for watching this and tuning in. It was cool having some people just hanging for a while. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Get through it. And a great weekend as well. So I will see you next time. We're going to end YouTube first since we started YouTube first. So thank you, everybody on YouTube, for joining in. I'll see you next time.